Midtown Redevelopment Board meeting. I'm Eddie Lake, and I call this meeting to order. We will have our roll call followed by invocation by Ms. Devonner, and then we'll remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Roll call.
Okay. Angela Hardy. Shepherd. Present. Renee Richardson. Present. Kathy Washington.
Present.
Davita Bonner.
Present.
Lynn Thompson.
Present.
And Pastor Eddie Lake.
Present.
You have a quorum, Mr. Chair?
All right, we are ready to proceed. We'll now have our invocation followed by Pledge of Allegiance.
If you bow your head. Dear Lord, thank you for this time, Lord. Thank you for allowing us to be here today, Lord. We know through you and through all of that you do, not only here with us in Daytona Beach, but globally, that you're always with us and help us to manifest and to live through you and your word. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. All right, next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda for tonight. Yes, sir. We'll entertain a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and probably second that we approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. So is the order. All right, next item on the agenda is the approval of our minutes from April the 8th. You should have had an opportunity to peruse those. We will entertain a motion.
Prepare a motion to approve the minutes
Is there a second?
from April.
I'll second that.
Movement properly seconded. We approve the minutes from April the 8th. All those in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. So is the order. Minutes are approved. Now, beloved, it gives us pleasure to move to this next item on the agenda, which is our presentation from the Midtown branding proposal. We are ready to receive. Ms. Beth?
Thank you, and I can't tell you how excited we are to be here tonight to give this presentation to you.
We're glad you're here.
It's been a long time in coming, and we're excited to be a part of it. I'm Beth Gibson with Planning Solutions Corp. My company has done strategy, grants, funding for the city for the last 10 years continuously. Going back further in the early 90s, I actually was a city employee working in the planning department. 91 to 95, and so I'm pretty familiar with Daytona Beach. I've been both business owner and homeowner here. Currently, I don't live here, but I still continuously work with the city. With COVID, some things changed in life, and for me as well. But still very excited. My heart is still in the city. And then my partner in crime here is Chris Colasante. Their company is covering content. We've collaborated on this effort for the past 10 years through my contract with the city. We started with the branding part of it in 2019, actually, and that is when, getting ahead of myself a little bit, Chris's company does all the graphic design. So any of the actual design components like the logos, the nice looking things, that would be Chris. I'm more the idea person and the implementation strategy, content, structure, process, that sort of thing. And so Chris created the world famous Daytona Beach, which is this first, so I'm going to jump into it. Created this logo back in 2019, and they were working with the city with the communications department. They were updating the website, and it was really just accessibility issues when those requirements came about for websites and colors and stuff. And they were like, I don't like the colors that our website consultants use, and they're pastel. I don't feel like the city's pastel. We're not sleepy. So we started looking at it, and the tagline sort of the city always had was "World's Most Famous Beach." Y'all know you still have the gateway over at the city at the beach side. And I started thinking about that, and I'm a big fact checker. I like for things we say to be true. And so I started Googling world's most famous beach, and I started Googling best beaches in the world, best beaches in the nation, best beaches in Florida. We weren't on any of those lists. And I was kind of shocked, but we weren't. We weren't known for our beach. And so I started thinking, but we're known because Daytona Beach has that name brand. Wherever I've traveled anywhere in the world, people ask me, where are you from? I say Daytona Beach, and people are like, oh, I'm like, oh, have you heard of it? They're like, yeah. And I'd say, what do you remember about it? What do you like about it? And they would go, I can't really remember it, but I had fun. I remember it was good, but they didn't have anything specific. So that's what this effort is really about. So what do you think of when you think of world famous Daytona Beach? Because what we determined was that this city is famous. It's known. The name is known, right? But what is it? What is Daytona Beach to you? And it's going to be different, right, to each of you. Your vision of what world famous Daytona Beach is. So it is a system or series of places, images, and perceptions about a place. And that's what place branding is. It is conceptualizing, communicating, and fostering this image and shaping perceptions about the place. So the city is a place. It's not a product. It's not Coca-Cola or Nike or something like that we're trying to sell, but it's a place that we want people to identify with and have a certain perception. So a branding effort for a place branding, is all about shaping perceptions and images about that place. And just personally, one of the things that I think, having been around the city a long time, we are our own worst enemy in a lot of ways. From my perspective, what I see is that we don't, sometimes outsiders will come in and go like, oh my gosh, that's amazing, or look at that, and we're like, we get tired of ourselves, or we don't see enough progress or change, and we get disappointed. So we want to re-energize that, and we want to love ourselves and really see this sort of unity of community. This is a lot of words. I'm not going to read them all, but this is just to show that the city does have a character. This helps to create consistent messaging in the city. It helps to define what we are, sort of tell that consistent story through everything we do. So, and we have kind of 5 character traits: unique, bold, eclectic. We're unique. We're the only city named Daytona Beach. That may sound not that special, but for instance, there's like Greenville. There are like 32 Greenvilles in the United States. So I mean, there are a lot of cities. Most cities, there are many of them with the same name. Daytona Beach, we are it. So that's just an example. But also, we view things differently. We act differently in this city. We ask bold questions of society and set unparalleled examples in the world. And that's part of how we became world famous. It was our people, our spirit. We're dynamic and enduring, unexpected, changing, moving, but maintaining the essence of the city. Welcoming and civic-minded. We've been a tourist-based economy from the beginning, really, of Henry Flagler, of, all the things of people coming down here and bringing the wealthy northern tourist, all of that. Organic and authentic. We have, really a lot of natural beauty here. The ocean, the river. We have one of the most biodiverse national estuaries in the world with fish and all these species of sea life, marine life. So organic from that sense, but also organic as a people, true to ourselves and very true and unique. And then resourceful and resilient. And so when something happened through our history and there was an issue, we kind of just changed. We were resourceful to address that. And we came together as a community to kind of get to the next place. So there's examples of that, and y'all can read those later, but just to give you an idea. And so for the components of the brand, there are 3 that we really look at for this effort in particular. We're looking at visual identity. So that's having an engaging design. That's what we actually see of the brand. And we need to see something 7 times before we really start to remember it and it sinks in. So you want to have that brand over and over and over, and you want to have it consistent. And then engaging places is these branded destinations, and we're going to talk about that some tonight. And then the final one is communication, and those are those engaging stories. So between them, those three things really make up the brand. So it's design, places, and stories. And we're going to use the design and the stories really to create these places. The places themselves already exist. It's the perception and image of the place. As an example, and we call them sort of branded destinations once we bring the brand to it. So this is an example of the city's, one of their parks, and as it's branded. And so you have things like arrival signage, visual cues, and consistent branding, and that creates order and engagement, which makes people feel like you're in a city park. So you feel sort of there's a sense of pride. That park was always there, but once you put this stuff, the brand into the park, you have a slightly different perception about it, and you see this sense of order. Things sort of match. It looks like it belongs together, and it can kind of move you around through the park site. Consistent colors, style guides, all of those things. And there is sort of a hierarchy, and it's loose, and sometimes we can, the destinations, really everything on this page is a destination. But you kind of start with the city brand. So your overall largest destination, right, is the city itself, world famous Daytona Beach. And then within the city, they sort of have already existed, but we haven't really branded them. We haven't put signage up. We haven't let people know when they're there, what they are, really get them public. So those would be the districts, like LPGA, Speedway, Midtown, Downtown, Beachside. Those areas we commonly refer to, but we want to make it very consistent and have a very specific brand associated with those. If you also think of a district and a hierarchy, if you think of the city as the big city, the whole Daytona Beach, right? And then you think of districts, they're places probably you would drive to. So you would drive to these areas and then park. And then as we get down into maybe the areas or the assets, those are places you're getting out of your car now and you're walking around. So they could be like a smaller neighborhood. For example, in Midtown, we could have areas like maybe some of the sort of the old neighborhoods from old Daytona, like Waycross, Newtown, Silver Hill, that sort of thing. Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune Boulevard might be an area, a corridor, so they can be linear, they can be more, kind of sphere kind of area. And then we have assets within each of those areas. They can be, and that's actually like a destination itself, like a park, a historic site, a corridor, those sorts of things. So really the whole idea of the place brand hierarchy is that they're just the bigger place, and all of these things make up the city of Daytona Beach as you go down in these smaller areas. So it's really just layered destinations within destinations, places to go within other places to go. And the more you have of those, the more interest there is in a city, the more active it feels, the more vibrant. And we already have them all. We just haven't really put it into sort of a system and a brand. So with the branded destinations, the city has been intentionally implementing this system of destinations and experiences. And the objective of that is to connect people. That's the bottom line. We want to connect people. And we connect them to culture, history, recreation, and to each other to really create community with this branding. And then again, these layered destinations, the types of sort of the categories that we'll be looking at as part of this effort for Midtown. The city has 5 districts, or there may be more ultimately, but we've sort of started with that. And Midtown will be the first one that we're going to go through this branding process on. So we're starting it now, and we will be doing the brand for Midtown. And within this slide, actually, the numbers that you see, they represent the entire city, like 20 historic sites, 29 parks, that's for the city overall. But as we move through the Midtown district, we will be doing the brand, which means like a logo or design or the storytelling content, something to know that you've arrived there. At the heritage neighborhoods, which a heritage neighborhood, what I have been using as a definition for that is historic register, that it's something, a neighborhood that's listed on the National Historic Register. And we may sort of refine that as we go, because this isn't a perfect process. We'll take input and we'll kind of massage things as we go to make it fit, what we have here in Midtown. But like the Southwest Daytona district, it talks about these different, Midway, Newtown, so we might have those as heritage neighborhoods, the historic, neighborhoods within Midtown. And there may be others that we want as well for that. And then the parks, any parks that are within Midtown, we would include in this branding effort. Any historic sites in Midtown, destination streets or corridors, something that we've talked about as being sort of a key corridor. It's not just any street in the community, but like ISB, I would call that a destination corridor. It's kind of its own thing, right? So imagine if, like, just to give you an idea of what we're talking about, how you brand a corridor or street, like to use ISB as an example, you might, if you say left the airport or I-95, you turn on to ISB and you head towards the beach. Imagine if there were just suddenly monument signs or gateway signs or banners, even just banners. And as you drove down the street, there would have like different parts of ISB, right? Maybe it would be like this Speedway hub or Speedway corridor or Speedway city or Speed City or something, I don't know. And then you would go on down and maybe there would be like Innovation/Tech Hub or Tech City, right? For like Embry-Riddle and the wind machine thing they have there, right? And then you continue on and education, the colleges and the schools, and right? So there's all these great things. And then you get to Midtown, right? And then you go on to downtown and the beach side. Wow, suddenly I'm driving along and I'm thinking this is a really cool city. Look at all these things I can explore and all that they have in their city. You kind of get a picture just from that, just as an example of a simple way to kind of change perception. We didn't add the colleges, we didn't add the Speedway. We have all that. It's just making it noticeable, right? In a very simple way to create these perceptions. And then the destination trails, there's two that we sort of think are in the city, with the Sweetheart Trail along the riverfront, and then the Black Heritage Trail in Midtown, which some of the sites are not in Midtown, but primarily that's a Midtown trail. So we will be also branding that, and we've already, actually we had a grant for the Black Heritage Trail to put up physical signs at each of the sites along the trail. So we're already working on that actually as part of the grant. So that's even jumped forward a little bit in this effort. So again, the process that we'll be looking at, and this is just a little sketch concept. It doesn't really mean much other than just kind of showing, how we might have like heritage neighborhoods in there. And that was just from an old Daytona 1925 map and some of the kind of where and what it said for some of the old neighborhoods. But basically, we developed this through a process of inventory and research, reading, a lot of reading, and gathering of information, pictures, storytelling, developing stories from those, establishing the boundaries and edges. Obviously we have the CRA as a clear, distinct boundary, and that is associated with funding as well. But we may want to look at some of the other things like historic districts, and just look at maybe where it makes sense to have the actual brand. It may extend beyond the CRA or it may not. And that's something we'll have to determine as we move through this. Identifying arrival points. So the idea would be for all the key corridors, which you have more east-west movement through the district than north-south, but at those key entry points into the district, some sort of arrival announcement, right? So it would probably be like a sign for those key corridors that says Midtown. So people know where Midtown is, or maybe it's a gateway. Maybe on the key corridors, especially the destination corridors, it's a gateway. And then on the streets within the district, any of the major streets, you might have banners that say Midtown, that sort of thing. That's what we're talking about with arrival points, and then identifying that you're in the district. And then we'll design maps so people can also see where Midtown is within the city, that sort of thing. And designing any of the signage, the banners, all that, and the district brand itself. Now Now to the more fun stuff, I think you'll be more excited about, the brand. So we have the actual design part, Chris's part. So these are some concept, or a concept that Chris developed for Midtown that we're very excited about to show you. And then we'll have some mock-ups after the initial slide of some different ways that it could potentially be used and what we'd be looking at trying to roll out as part of this. Okay, you ready? Okay, here's a big reveal.
Let's go.
So that would be the sort of the Midtown logo idea for the district brand. But y'all just kind of look at that for a minute. And if you, I can take questions or comments at the end, or if anybody has any thoughts right off the bat, that's fine too.
Continue.
Continue, okay.
Yes.
Okay, and then executing the brand and putting it into practice. This just shows how the district brand could support the city brand, where we would still have, be clear that you're in the city. That wouldn't be on everything. We would determine where it made sense to have the city brand coexist with the district brand. And there's an example of where it may be done. Again, we're just at the beginning of this, so these are just ideas at this point, but that gives you an idea about destination streets and banners. This is an idea of just, like at a more pedestrian level, we think like one of the destination corridors in the district that would be more pedestrian-based would be Dr. Mary McLeod within Boulevard, where there's the kind of the commercial corridor. Excuse me. And you would have more pedestrian scaled signage and messaging directories, and different things. And then this is a concept that I think could be really valuable to merchants. I have heard for a long time that people buy things in Daytona Beach, that people will save up, tourists, whatever, that visit here will save up to be able to get it in Daytona Beach, just because there's something about getting stuff here is exciting, and a way to maybe market that even more and to boost kind of local merchants and local goods and the sort of buy local would be a made in. So made in, and then this could be sort of a program where you have to be a local merchant or have certain criteria to have a made in Midtown stamp or tag in your item that you're selling or that sort of thing. So that creates perceived value for unique local offerings. And again, this is just an idea concept at this point. And then having merchandise that could be developed for city staff, for the board, those sorts of things, but then also sold potentially to residents, tourists, or at city events, that sort of thing. Again, this is conceptual, but the idea would be that the funding could then come back and help pay for sort of more of these types of efforts. And that is, I think we might have some more slides, but that is the bulk of the presentation. I didn't want to go too long tonight and let y'all see if y'all have any input or comments.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, we'll begin with the board. Ms. Devana. Ms. DeVita, excuse me.
Thank you for your presentation, first and foremost. In looking at what you did show us with the graphics and the M and whatnot, and the ability for entrepreneurs and things to be able to create things, I think that's a very positive message. And now the color scheme, I'm noticing in some of it, this color scheme changes slightly. Is there, I know
think that's
this
the
is,
slide.
yeah.
Do you mean about
Yeah, like the one
like
now that
darkness?
you're showing, and then the one that looked a little bit darker and, okay, just the slide, okay.
Excuse me. Woke up with a cold this morning, I apologize. Yeah, it should not. It should be the darker, kind of more vibrant.
Okay, yeah. I like the symbolism of it. I mean, the ability for people to have a connectedness to their community. I mean, I think that's important. And with them being able to buy into it, I think that's the utmost importance, rather than just having something marketed there for them. It gives an opportunity for people to be able to be a part of it and to have a sense of pride and in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So I see those as positives. You know, made in Midtown.
Excellent. Thank you. Ms. Renee? Yeah, make sure your mic is on.
Oh, okay, it's on. I think the presentation was wonderful. The colors that you have, is that already determined? Or is it still, it's already,
I think I don't think we have it
Is it
approved. We
concept?
presented this to City Commission and they really liked it. So from that standpoint, I'm not sure, but,
Okay.
but certainly any comments you have, I think we would love to hear anything about any of it. You know, we want this to be the city's brand, Midtown's brand, and y'all are the ones who know the most about that.
only for me, I just think when you look at the brightness of the city of Daytona Beach, that sign and that is so bright. Just the visual of that is kind of dark, you know, a little heavy. I don't know, maybe now looking at it there, it was a little heavy. When you put it and you had it on the signage where it would be like the map, you know, and stuff that
Different,
looked,
right.
yes,
Yeah, that's
yes,
one
that made it look
right.
a little brighter kind of thing. I just, yeah. So,
So Chris is saying that's more accurate.
okay, all right.
Okay, that is.
Yeah. I think the presentation is wonderful. I'm excited about us having branding, having something to show that, you know, you're entering into the Midtown area. So I'm excited and on board with whatever you guys have going on. Thank you for taking the time out to do it for us. Thank you.
Right.
Also, thank you so much for your presentation. It was very informative. And you said this took 6 years to put together?
Well, I should clarify that. So we started working on the world famous Daytona Beach brand then in the city, and you've started to see that around, I think, more and more in flyers and things. So it's sort of rolled out more, and I think when Mr. Fiacher came to, he really kind of bought into the branding and liked it. But it took us that long to get the city commission, which we did in this past November. So they've blessed it, they want to move forward. So that's kind of what the thing that happened, I guess, recently.
Have you ever heard of Virginia Beach, Virginia? Okay. This is where I spent my formative years. And the reason that Virginia Beach is so well known is because they are color coded. If you have Lynn Haven, district where Lynn Haven Mall is, it's got part of the beaches, you know that is yellow, and you know instantly where you are. When you're in Oceana Naval Air Station, that's purple. And when you see the signs on the road, you know exactly where you are. Same way for the ocean front. So that's just an idea that I can throw out there for you. On your heritage concept, I like that, but I think it should be more culturally sensitive, okay? Not just what's on the National Register, but I know Midtown would benefit from that greatly. I like the idea.
Can I
Of course,
ask you a question?
absolutely.
So can you expand on that a little bit? Like more culturally significant how?
Yes, like the Mary Bethune-Cookman area.
Okay.
You know, I think that is a cultural destination, especially for the young folks. And I think that should be highlighted. You know, we
Yeah.
want to draw them in too.
I agree. That's a huge
Their
ask.
money is tremendous. Give them merchandise and let them be something proud of Midtown, and I think that they will gobble it up. And my final comment is on your color scheme for your Midtown presentation. The first thing I saw was Motown. I didn't see Midtown. I saw
I
Motown.
did too.
Okay.
On the EM.
So I think that can be tweaked.
Okay.
And that's what I have for you.
That's a great
You
observation.
said you did too?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that is their symbols. It's very similar to that on what they.
And maybe
produce.
that's why it's so prevalent. It's because they already have that going.
right. Wow. Great observation.
Okay. My first request is, since we're in the Sunshine State and everybody loves the beach, the major colors, for instance, that you're using in execution, or why couldn't it be more of a yellow instead of that brown? Also in the M, the light color that's in the M, the light, I think that the yellow reflects the sunshine, which we are the Sunshine State. The other item was we had something dealing with the beach, and we took out famous. Famous was removed.
Yeah.
And being a native of Daytona for 75 years,
It's your heart.
I miss famous.
This where we took out world's most famous beach.
Most.
Is what it
Most.
said. World's most famous
Yeah,
beach
you
is
took
what it said instead of
Yes.
instead of world famous Daytona Beach. And I think like world's most famous beach, like I said, is still over on the beach side, and I think you'll still see that sort of tagline being used for the beach. But the difficulty with having that for your overall city brand is your brand is your promise, right? So it has to. You want to be honest about what you're saying your brand is, and if you're saying it's world's most famous beach and it's not, there's just an issue of drawing people to that, just from a typical marketing standpoint. So that was the thought on taking world's most famous beach and changing it to world famous beach, and that was done like in 2019. So that's been around a long time. That. It's just slowly kind of. It hasn't been everywhere, so people.
I hadn't seen
slowly
it.
seeing it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I back you up on this, Mrs. Bronson, because we all need aspirations, right? So I think that we should be world's most famous. When I spoke with somebody in Cleveland, Ohio, that was in an argument with me, I said, I'm from Daytona Beach, the world's most famous beach. Where are you from?
Did you win?
And it shut them down. It shut them down.
Like I
Shut
said,
it
it's been
down,
most
Miss
famous.
Jones.
Yeah, so I think that we
75
need
years,
that.
it's been most famous. Why change it now?
Daytona, we got the Speedway.
And I
Why
will
are we not
argue
the most famous
till the day
beach?
is done, I think it should still be world most famous beach. And then again, that brown be changed to yellow because of the sunshine or light.
I'm sorry, but I think it's so dark. It's so
What's dark?
The background.
just the
Yeah.
color of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
When we look at Daytona Beach, that sign has a brightness to it. It has a drawing to it.
Exactly.
This sign has. it does give you
Put your mic
Motown.
on. Turn your mic
It gives
on.
Your mic.
I'm sorry. It gives you. Yeah. It just gives you a different.
It's not aspirational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
heavy.
The-
It is heavy. It's dark, and that's not what we are.
We want
Right.
to generate
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's the whole
That's
thing.
it.
The yellow gives you, as you said, energy. It's an up feeling. And that's what we want people to have. The lighter.
Yeah.
Try other colors.
The brown is fine.
Written in stone yet? I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I think the
It's conceptual. Yeah, it's conceptual.
graphics can be.
Yeah, this is concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's initial
Try other
concept.
colors, I think, because when you look at putting the city of Daytona Beach, that's signage, and then you go from the bright blue to the red, whatever the really bright colors that's showing you we're the beach, we're here. This goes.
It pulls back.
Yes,
pulls back,
yeah,
yes.
it really
That's a good
does.
comment.
It really does.
And it could culturally too.
Again, this was
Yeah.
the one concept, but even I don't have it in the slides, but the world famous Daytona Beach brand,
Right.
there's different what is it, like the DB and the light, what would you call that? So there's icons and logos and different, and there's like different backgrounds, so there might be like a yellow instead of the brown in the background and different things too. But I think Chris.
And the city approved that? We need to get some new blood on the city.
Well, they wanted, the mayor was.
Speak now, Ms.
I meant to include a clip from the mayor after the presentation about, he was beyond excited.
Yeah, they were excited about it. Ms. Catherine, is that all you had?
I like if you're advertising Daytona, bright place, I like bright colors. I guess that's the main key. The colors in there are fine. The maroon, it's a little dark. For me, that's why I said make that yellow brighter, because I like bright colors. And it draws your attention.
Yes.
I mean, it's cute.
Right.
I think the silence of the room spoke.
Okay.
The silence of the room spoke. It wasn't that it's not nice. It's just not who we are as Midtown.
Right.
I just think we need to be brighter.
No, absolutely.
And I think some of
Thank you.
the color, the original thought behind the colors, some of it was to be bold, sort of modern, but yet hearkening back to heritage and history, and even like, Bethune-Cookman, historically black college and university, a little bit of that sort of color.
Okay, so that explains the maroon.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
Right.
to be fair, this does look
Yeah.
very dark on the
Yeah.
screen, and that's not actually the
Okay.
color. So you are getting a very muted, so we'll get you a printout.
Now-
The graphic M and all the colors in it, just switch the colors up, make them
Just
pop.
make it,
Pop.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, thank you. Mr. Lynn?
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a few questions. Congratulations on this presentation. It is impressive. Okay.
Yes.
I got 5 questions,
okay.
and it won't take 20 minutes. Okay. First, the city does have a graphic standard manual, right? I mean, a brand manual. We do have. Okay. So I'm quite sure that after this project, the manual will be updated to include all these new colors and the like.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
My first question is about the business directory. As Midtown evolves, and I noticed where you had a map and it looked like a listing of the businesses. Is it going to be static? Where
Yeah, and we those are ideas right now
Yeah.
of the types of things we could put at a pedestrian level, like on Mary McLeod Bethune Boulevard, for example. That's not a definite that we'll have like a business directory, but it's just an idea of something you could do. There could be like a bigger list and a QR code so that when businesses changed or whatever, you can update it.
I think that is. I'm talking to staff now, because I think that when we have a community that is in flux, that it's going to be so important for us to be accurate. When we are always attempting to draw people to Midtown as it evolves, that information, and I've been to cities where once the sign was erected and put up, it's maybe 2 to 3 months before it gets changed, and you go looking for the businesses, an ice cream shop, and they closed 3 months ago. And it kind of kills the enthusiasm that you do have. That is important, I think, for all of us. One of the things I do appreciate Midtown being first, but it also means that in the creative process, those who follow get the benefit of the feedback from the community. Meaning, an artist, you get it wrong sometimes, and they say, so everybody else who follows, they get the feedback of the criticism of the process. And maybe we don't get the advantage of a correction. And so we got the questions that my colleagues are raising are pertinent questions. Now, I think it's a great approach, and I can see very easily why the commission is so excited. I'm excited about it, and so I think that we've got to, and don't take this personally as the artist, you know. I understand, clearly, I understand where you're coming from. But we gotta get it right, you know, and then I'm of the mindset as an artist that the colors also tell a story, you know, and if so, what is the story of these colors? Because if we don't tell that story, somebody else is going to create that story.
Create a
for
story.
us, you know, and I think that throughout the entire city, there should be something. If it's a color, and Kathy, you said it well. The sunshine. If it's the gold, it could reflect the sun of the Florida sunshine. You know, what does the maroon reflect the blood of the people? You know, those kinds of things. We really need to be able to grab a hold of something that is indigenous to Midtown, what it was, but more importantly, what it will become. Because as it becomes gentrified, we've got a rainbow of sorts that we are attracting, which is great for the city. And so we want to make sure that we are able to capture not only what it was, but to also be able to project what it's going to be.
Absolutely.
The final two questions.
Before you get to your last two questions, I think Michelle had a response to that.
I just wanted to comment that my colleague reminded me that I mentioned the streetscape project last month.
Yeah.
Part of the streetscape project is to make sure that we have a digital kiosk. So there will be no static anything in our plans, because we need to, some of it is going to be real-time updates.
Great.
But
Yes.
I will guarantee you there will be no static signage.
Okay,
All
that's
right.
great.
Thank you.
That's good.
The final two questions. Licensing. Midtown. Nobody who can license the term Midtown.
It's the cities. So the city will have ownership of it, the legal staff.
Of the word Midtown?
Well, the brand, this brand. So,
You know, and so, okay, so what I'm saying is this, that's fine legally, as long as it's buttoned up the right way, because my experience, my previous life we've been dealing with bootleg city, you know, and I think that if we get it right, when we get it right, all right, when it's done the right way and it's passed, I think this is going to excite a lot of people. And so much so that everybody and their cousin is going to want to produce something about Midtown. And I think it would be robbery if Midtown, the business district, does not benefit from that. And so we got to make sure that that is done the right way. You know, and I'm quite sure you think about that all the time when you're doing branding. You got to, because what good is it putting something out there good if you cannot reap the benefits of it? My final point is this. Once this is done, what is the remainder of the process? I do know you've gone to the city commission. The board, our board, what about the citizens in general? Will it be taken to different parts of the city so that there can be feedback?
Part of our direction from Marketing and Communications, Susan Serbone's office, is to roll this out to the community so the stakeholders can see what the commission has seen, what you all have seen, what tweaks are made. They're not going to see this version, but they'll see a version of this.
Okay.
But there will be a stakeholder public meeting for them to see
Very
it.
good.
Yes.
I'm truly excited about this.
Yes.
I just want to make sure we get it right. And I applaud you on the work that you've done. And I pray that you would take the feedback that you're getting from us to make sure that it's done, because I know you want it done the right way. And so that it will excite people and that the city will be able to take off. And I think Midtown, the great work this staff is doing with the board, the changes that we are seeing and the ones that we envision happening will need something like this for us to really become the best version of Midtown that we could be. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. To echo those comments, and did you have anything further?
Quick question.
Michelle?
Will we get to view it before it goes out to the public? To review it before?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're working closely with staff, both Susan's department, but particularly, redevelopment staff. And we do have about a 4-month schedule to produce it all. So we'll be, working pretty quickly on getting that.
Well, is that a static schedule?
To be determined.
Okay, to be determined. So before we receive any other public comments, I would like to say again, we commend you for the efforts. I think it's a wonderful start, and I do echo the comments of my colleagues. I am concerned again about the lack of brilliance in the brightness of the marker, because we definitely need gateways coming in, and more than one place. If we could attach it in 4 directions, north, south, east, and west of the Midtown community, would be great. I am also concerned with the color scheme. I would like to see it more connected to the current city brand. And you gave a diagram and a schedule of the various colors in the presentation. And from what I saw in that scheme, yes, right there. Is the brand right now, is the current brand right now for the various parks and all of the destinations, are they currently color coded? Or no?
Yeah, so this is the kind of the style guide, and the colors are part of the style guide for the city brand, the world famous Daytona Beach brand. And this, you can see the park.
But is it separate for the various destinations or
so the
neighborhoods and
parks will
communities?
have, so even in Midtown, your parks will look like this because systematically the decision has been made to do these park signs. And things don't always, roll out exactly as we would like them to.
Right.
There's money available, and the parks got ahead of the brand, really, the rest of the brand. Ideally, we would have done the city brand, we would have done each district, we would have done the destinations within the district, we would have figured out the structure, and figured out that. But I think all the parks are city parks, regardless of which district they're in. They might have, maybe there ends up being under the DB logo, Midtown logo or something too for the Midtown, or a beachside for the beach. There's ways we can still add that brand. And the other only quick comment I'll say is that this process is not static either. Even when we complete it, there will be changes, and I think we will have the benefit. Even though it's a very fair point you made, absolutely, that you're first and you're going to be the guinea pig. But we'll learn a lot as we go through. Together we'll learn what's good and what works. But there will be update. To me, branding is continuous. It just really doesn't end. So this is the start, the very start, and these are really, are just conceptual. And typically we do the design part after I finish or get pretty far along in the strategy and the storytelling, because that informs it, right? But everybody, what do they want to see? They don't want to hear me talk about stories and, strategies. They want to see what's it look like, So we kind of got a little bit ahead on developing concepts without going through more of the process and more of the details, even though we've done quite a bit of research. So
Excellent.
Just so you know.
No, thank you for that. I appreciate the presentation. Again, I think we're off to a great start into trying to determine which direction that we go. And as my colleague said, Mr. Lynn, we don't want to foul this up.
We don't either.
We want to make sure that we close it. And so, again, thank you. And so we appreciate you so much. Now, if we have a moment, can we have a moment for public comment? Yes. Anyone? If no one else,
Did you fill out a green form?
Yeah, make sure you complete the form. Yes. Yeah, you can do it after you speak. Yeah. Thank you.
Pierre Lewis, 130 South Franklin Street. Good evening to the chair, and to the board. It's good to see everybody once again. If I didn't make any comments about this at all, I too agree with a number of things that people said about the colors. The color scheme is just kind of blah to me. You see the brown, first of all, you see the bright, vibrant colors that are there in the blue and the light blue and the gold or the yellow that's there. And you think of, for me, I think of something as being very festive, as something as a place that I want to be. I want to go right there. That's how I look at it. But then when I see the brown, and I was a marketing guy for the Boys and Girls Club, so I've done that marketing class from the Nike guys when they did that. So I understand the color schemes now. But I'm speaking in this capacity as a little Cub Scout that grew up in the streets and in this area of Midtown. And I think the colors scheme should be very inviting. And for me personally, they don't seem very inviting to me. It seems kind of very drab when I first look at it. I think, wow, it's all brown. Not that brown's not a good color. I mean, because I'm brown.
That's right.
But other browns, I think when I look at it, it should be like when I look at Ken's jacket and I see the colors. See how they stand out? You see it and you go, wow, that's Ken. The other one's drab and just something I think need to work. Those are the only comments. And the other comment I think that probably I'm thinking somewhere else because I was a chair of the board. I went to my GoDaddy websites that I have, and one of the websites, as you can see, is Midtown Daytona. I did that a few years ago, so we'll probably talk about that. I had that domain name from years ago because I had that vision that somehow or another that someday we'd probably have some sort of brand. In anticipation of that years ago when I was on the board. And I think that's extremely important. I think it's unique, but I think branding is one thing, but also to the point that we are still a part of all of Daytona. We want to be able to say that, yeah, you've just stepped into a place that has its own unique character, but still there's a symbiotic relationship that says that we have our own character, as you say, with the colors and stuff, but we're still part of that great Camelot, that round table that is all of Daytona Beach. And by saying that we're all of Daytona Beach, as we said before, we want when someone comes to Midtown, they can say, I'm going to Midtown, I'm going to Beach Street, I'm going to this place, and they still feel like they're part of a unique culture, but they also feel that they're a part of all of Daytona Beach. And that's a real question that's there that says, yeah, step into it. And the last thing I'll close up with, and they want to feel like they're a part of an area of the future, not an area that's of the past. Sometimes we'll use those color schemes to say that we're 20 years ago, and we are living in a world where young people are dealing with AI, robotics, and everything. So we want it to be static, so it leaves some room that we're constantly growing in a digital world. I like when you talked about the kiosks. I'm thinking holograms, something like that. But we want to be that kind of a progressive thing. So those are my only small comments. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you for the vision as well. Are there any other public comments? There's one more. Yes. And you can sign the form after you speak. This is for this. Yeah. Okay, very good. All right, and here's my question. What action do we need to take?
This was an informational presentation for feedback, and staff has noted many comments, and this is also recorded, so if the presenter, Beth Gibson or Chris,
Yes.
can't remember Chris' last name, but Chris Colasante, if either one of them wants to look back at the comments to incorporate it, because they are a consultant to the city.
Right.
They've gotten a strong yes from the mayor. So what staff does through my boss, Ken, is we take this to the city manager, and then we try to find a common ground. And he don't want to play with Midtown boys. So he will be getting the feedback. And The outcome is to get a revision, some type of alteration to what we have. That's what we're going to present to the city manager. He may say no, and he'll come here and say no, because he's not going to send me to say no. But I'm sure he's going to incorporate the changes that have been provided. That's the kind of city manager we have.
Absolutely, absolutely. We agree with you.
Miss
100%.
Shepherd, did you have a comment?
I just was to head off future problems or side roads. If we had 2 or 3, maybe 4 concepts that we could choose from, give us a choice, and then we can go with the best one that we feel is appropriate for Midtown.
I hear you loud and clear. Thank you, ma'am.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you again. Appreciate that. All right, beloved, next item on the agenda are staff reports. We'll start with the police department.
Captain Condi, I'm not sure why he's not here, but we're going to have to assume that work called him away because he's not here to present.
Okay, very good. All right, we'll proceed to code compliance. Ms. Sarah.
Good evening, Sarah
Good evening.
Kirk, thank you. Inspector of the city. For the month of April, code had 42 active cases. 24 were code cases and 18 were vacant lot cases. 13 of which were either in compliance in the month of April or closed. We do have an update for 322 Fulton, which was brought up last month by you, Ms. Shepherd. The inspector for that case has moved forward with that, and it was found in noncompliance last week in front of the code board. So that inspector is moving forward with that case.
So much more to tell you.
Okay. And I have relayed all the messages I've received to you over to her. I've forwarded to her. So, and I think I gave you her contact information. Okay. But feel free to contact me even more.
It's a change, but nothing is, it's all the same. Yeah. It's even worse because they don't have a vested interest in the property. So it's hard.
Well, feel free to, contact me tomorrow or reach out. And then, if we need to come back by and take another look at it, see if there's something else we can do.
Okay.
But code is continuing to address citizen complaints and working towards compliance with the city codes. Does anybody have any questions?
I just want to say I think you do a tremendous job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Be encouraged. Excellent. All right, we'll now proceed to redevelopment projects. Ms. Michelle.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, board
Good evening.
members. I'm Michelle Tolliver, the project manager for Midtown. I don't have any project updates. I just wanted to give a update on the Urban Chamber that presented to us last month. I have not reached out to them to get an application. They have not sent me an application, and that's the honest truth. That doesn't mean it's dead in the water. That just means I don't have any progress to give you. But I wanted to give you an update to let you know that we are still going to apply for membership for the CRA for the Urban Chamber.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And this is a housekeeping issue, more so than anything. When the meeting is over, I need you to leave the building because the doors lock at a certain time, and we want to lock the doors before we lock you in here.
Yes.
So if you want to talk, you can talk all night long. Exit stage left, and I'm a jokester by nature. But anyway, when the door locks, just so you all know now, because it's for security purposes, we've upgraded the security. We had a cat come in here, and the lady followed the cat. And we had a lady and a cat in here acting up. So we can't have that no more. When the door locks up here, it also locks downstairs on the first floor. That's why, honestly, when y'all finish, get out of here. Y'all too, get out of here, okay? So that we can close the building up properly because we've been given training by security and those tech people to make sure the building is locked down. Because they see us, you know,
Right.
whether we know it or not, Big Brother is watching. They looking
Yeah.
at you. They're at home, looking on their phone, saying, okay,
Yeah.
this meeting is over. They need to follow instructions. So
Yes.
it's just a
Okay.
housekeeping measure from now on once the, and it's just, not to rush you out, but just
Oh,
be
yeah.
considerate, you know, just
Absolutely.
be aware that from now on, you know, once the meeting ends, we're not gonna kick you out. But just
go.
know that, you know, we can't lock up and leave until the public is out of the building.
Point taken.
Yes, yes.
Point taken. Absolutely.
Yes.
I don't have anything else, but I just wanted to let you know the update for the Urban Chamber is still, you know,
Right.
something
Make
that
sure
we're
we do
going to
that.
pursue. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
I had my neighbor across the street. Now she turns 80 this year.
Okay.
And I have given her all the relevant information that has been passed on to me about a new roof. And she has contacted them over and over and over again. Is there another avenue or another agency that I can help her contact? Nothing.
Not for it, in our Midtown area,
Yeah.
we have a grant, but that grant only goes up to 10,000. And if her roof exceeds 10,000, then it is not a grant that covers the entire amount.
Okay.
The program that you're talking about,
Yeah.
because of COVID, you know, there's always a backstory. Because of COVID, the program was put on hold because we could not go do any repairs. And that's the program she's probably on a waiting list for, and there are a few hundred people.
Yeah.
Yes.
If her home, see, we missed the deadline with Transform 386.
Yeah.
Transform 386, your favorite program. Mr. Lewis's favorite program also. And we're joking about it, but they're not responsive to our residents in terms of the needs,
Yeah.
because her situation that she's describing, Ms. Richardson, Mr. Lewis's situation, countless other residents have not been helped through Transform 386, unfortunately. But she would have been a candidate for Transform 386. She would have applied, and they would have put her on a waiting list. She would wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. And hopefully not give up. But the list that your neighbor is on right now, there is a backlog. And I don't know when she was added, but if she was added in 2024 or 2025,
24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
she has a few hundred people ahead of her.
my
Until we get another resource, there is not another resource to help. And this is basically, even though she's a person who's been around a couple of days, you know, I'm not gonna call her old, but we don't have a program specifically anymore for residents who are seniors. We used to have a senior program for repairs and roofs, but we don't have that anymore.
She's blessed.
Wonderful.
All righty. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the update. All right, now, next item on the agenda is a presentation of Spotlight on Midtown. And we will do our best, as I share with our folk. You don't have to rush, but hurry up. So we can.
You know, as in the Marine Corps, so you know how that is. Pierre Lewis, 130 South Franklin Street. To the chair and to the board, I can say that Mr. Sunday, I called him and confirmed yesterday, the day before yesterday. Apparently he missed the call. He said he was going to be here, but he is not here. But out of courtesy to the board, I still wanted to at least mention to you that I know that the list of other businesses for the spotlight throughout, I would say from now to the end of the year, I've got a list for next month, the next month, the next month. So hopefully I'll double and triple check to make sure. But you confirm with somebody. But one of the things I do notice and I do remember is the fact that when you're dealing with businesses, sometimes business will take over. So sometimes something occurs,
That's so true.
somebody will call me. But
That's
this meeting's at 6 and they close at 5:30. So
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
that's just a Marine Corps thing. So yeah. But anyway, that's it. Thank
No, we
you.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Is there any old business that we need to consider?
Not that I'm aware of.
Any new business before us? No? All right. We now move to our section of public comment. Mr. Pierre and Ms. Felicia.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My Mayor, I finally made it.
You made it.
All right.
Finally got someone to take care of my mom in the
Very
evening
good.
so I can be here. So this is why I'm here. Catalyst Global Youth Initiatives has served this community for 15 years.
Okay.
Much of our work is in the school with mentoring. We mentor kids, one-on-one, group mentoring, gender specific. And then 10 years ago, because they didn't want to do it at Campbell, and made me so mad, I started this Literacy and Leadership Academy. It's 10 years old now, guys. All our kids from the mentoring, all our kids from this program graduate.
All right.
All of them.
Wow.
Okay?
Fantastic.
It inspires them to be, do, and have what they want. These are the same kids from the school. I've been talking to them about what they do with these kids. I've been talking about the social, emotional piece. If they're not getting it at home because they have parents that are working their behinds off, are focusing on things just for survival, we've got to give them it somewhere. So for 6 weeks, we wear out their behinds from 8 o'clock to 2:30. They have an hour of reading every single day. There's 6 books that they read that go to their library. It's about all kinds of things: civil rights, history, science, health, all kinds of things. They have the leadership side, which is you coming in and talking to them. They don't get to see us. They don't get to see adults outside in their community. They're so surprised. They're so excited when they see you. And the college students that work with them really inspire them because they see these young people who are not that much older than them, who are able to guide them and have fun with them at the same time. We take them on 5 tours, mind expansion tours. That will include this year all the colleges in our area, all the hospitals in our area, the Marine Science Center, NASA, and what is the 5th one? Can't remember it right now. But my point is, I need help. I need financial help. 3 areas: Daytona, DeLand, and Daytona. 173 kids go through this program, and sometimes more than that. Please help me with a financial contribution. That's what I need. All right, we got everything else in place. Staff is going to be trained this weekend, and they get worn out. We're worn out at 2:30. We're tired. Don't tell us anything. We're ready to go home. They will be right here at Mainland. They will be at DeLand High, and they will be at Pine Ridge High. Schools have been gracious enough to allow us to do that. We ordered 990 books. So each one of them can walk away with 6 books.
Wow.
They enjoy this experience. Daytona participates with speaking to them. Embry-Riddle speaks to them. Bethune-Cookman speaks to them. Stetson speaks to them. UCF speaks to them with all kinds of topics. The sheriff, the police, the hospitals. Show them their possibilities. Because right now, for them, it is rapping, ball playing.
Yeah.
It's expanding, but expands because we show them possibilities that they never thought existed because of where they're coming from. If you can help me, that's what I need now, finance.
Thank
Okay?
you.
That's why I'm here today.
Thank you so very much. Any comments?
Ms. Tolliver, I have a question.
Questions? Or my
Ms. Tolliver, on this. Why can we not invite these students here and see the process?
We
See
sure
what?
can. She
That's
wants
an
to
awesome
know.
idea.
Yeah, she wants to. I'm a staff member at the city, Ms. Brown. She's making sure that the staff here at the city is aware that they would like to see, hear from some of your students who participated in this program. So I will be in contact with you to try to invite them to come back to one of our meetings in the future.
Well, they have come several times when they received awards here. And
This
you are
is-
welcome to come to the
Commission.
site itself
Ms.
Yeah.
Brown,
when
just
it's
to
open.
clarify.
I'm not Miss Brown, I'm
I'm
Miss
sorry.
Benzo. I'm
Benzo.
sorry,
Say your name again.
I didn't
Say your name.
identify
Say your name.
myself. Felicia Benzo, 1309 Michael Avenue, Deltona, Florida.
Ms. Benso,
Yes.
this is not the city commission. I was going to invite you after this meeting is over.
Okay.
This is the actual Midtown Redevelopment Advisory Board.
Okay.
Yes.
And the funds that you're looking for
Yes.
is typically going to come from our commissioners. They meet next week on the 21st in the same room. But if you're not able to attend, I'm a staff member here at the city, and we can move this forward. And is Sharon Brown the one? to
Sharon
contact?
Brown is the program director.
Okay.
The website is there as well for you to see, and you can always call me.
And what Ms. Shepherd is asking for is we meet on the second Tuesday of each month. And she wants to hear from your students. So if they are available after the program is over or anytime.
Sure, yeah.
Yep, I'll
Yeah,
be
that
in
would be great.
contact to invite and arrange
Right.
them here. And we may have a little secret Santa gift for them.
That would be great.
Yeah. We do have some parents that might be able to come to that meeting.
that
I will
would
call
be
them and
great.
ask them to come to bring some of those kids. That's next Tuesday?
That's the commission meeting. That's where you
That's
can
the
get
meeting
your
we-
funding. Yeah,
That's where we need to be,
Yes.
right? Right. I'm not sure I'm gonna have
Wednesday.
somebody
Did
keep
I
my
say
mom.
Tuesday? I meant Wednesday.
Well, next
It's a Wednesday.
Wednesday,
at
yes.
Okay, I'll let them know.
22nd,
Next
right, yeah.
Wednesday at what time?
6 p.m.
Thank you.
Right
Thank you.
here.
Right here.
Right in here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Reed,
Let's do this.
thank you. Oh, no, Commissioner is not here. Don't worry.
Okay. Next Wednesday, we'll remind you.
Yeah.
I'll
I
remind you.
recognize your voice.
Thank you so very, very much.
I'm her Bethune-Cookman representative,
right?
so that's why.
Yeah. Keep up the good work. Yeah. Keep up the
She
good work. That's
does do
awesome,
a lot.
awesome program. Glad to know about this. Yeah. Thank you so very, very much. Pierre?
I was taught that, huh?
No.
Oh, he said no. No.
No.
Well, I did just win the international speech contest, but that's another story. It's another meeting. Pierre Lewis, 130 South Franklin Street. I thought I'd finish up my comments about at the branding thing, but Mr. Tolliver made me just think of something else that I wanted to mention is that 386 has done some work in the area. Okay. There's a house on the corner of Adams and, Key Street and Magnolia. One house isn't completely done. There's another one on the other side that's behind Checkers. That one is not completely done, but I know it's almost done. It's almost done. It's finished on there. And then there's another one I know that they're working on over where Loomis and Loomis Trails. Mr. Sanders is there. Those houses I know. And then the other point that I wanted to mention is I was at, like Ms. Bridgeson, waiting for them to call, and they actually stopped by the house 3 weeks ago now. And they looked it over and did a construction, so they could possibly do another house at where my residence too. So I was glad to see that. They were very nice, very pleasant, and they looked over it very detailed about a lot of stuff. Now I can't vouch for their entire list,
Right.
but I can say what we were talking about, we mentioned before that we were looking for whether or not they had done some work in the area. There is some progress. To say there's a lot, I don't know, because I don't have the full list. And I guess you're shaking your head, so you've seen that full list. But I know they're doing, okay. But they've done some work in here, and I know they did come by my house.
Okay.
That was
Not
it.
sufficient for me. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's not sufficient for me either, but I'm saying that there's an
Not
error. Of
sufficient
course
for
not.
me
Of course
either.
not.
Because the only thing that I continue to receive is an email.
Oh, I got you. Oh, don't put me on the wall defending them. I'm just saying I saw them. I saw them in the air. I don't have that branding.
Exactly.
Don't give me that brand. I'm letting you know that they were in the area. And with that, I bid you a good night.
Great presentation. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Now, next item on the agenda is just to receive any additional board comments. We'll start with you, Ms. Bonner.
Okay, good evening again. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for your presentations and sharing valuable information. I think everything that was discussed here this evening is very viable, and it's very much something that's going to be uplifting on all, in all aspects. So we appreciate all of you being here and sharing your information. And we look forward to whatever revisions or changes that may be forthcoming, and for you allowing us to give you feedback on all levels as well. Ms. Benzo, of course. thank you for being here. I know it takes a lot to get over here, especially this time of night. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. And thank you for what you do as well.
Appreciate you. Yeah, absolutely. Ms. Richardson?
I only would like to thank staff and everybody on the board and in the people that's in the audience. So thank you for tonight, and it was a wonderful
Thank you,
meeting.
everyone. Yes.
All right, wonderful. Ms. Shepherd?
Thank you so much, first of all, to everyone for their comments. It is greatly appreciated. It helps give us direction. And if I was a little tough on you, I apologize. That's just how I am. Sometimes I get myopic. And so, but it was a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Benzo, and thank you, Midtown Mayor.
There you go.
Staff, you're wonderful.
Absolutely. All right, Ms. Washington.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming. It was a timely meeting. And maybe you'll come back and join us next month.
Absolutely. Love to see you again.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Thompson?
I shot my 5 questions. So.
Don't have nothing else.
Are you sure?
I'm good.
Okay, very good.
Y'all good?
Good.
Yes.
Excellent. But again, let me commend each and every one of you. Appreciate you for sharing tonight. It's been our pleasure to receive from you and to hear your passion and your vision for what we need to do and how we need to move forward to bless the city. Of course, we want to thank staff and appreciate all the work and diligence that they put into these efforts. And to you, our colleagues, I mean, y'all are a great group of people to serve with. So thank you for allowing me to learn and to grow with you. So I appreciate that very, very much. And on a final note, let me say belated Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers, and appreciate you so very, very much. And just glad to be here tonight and to receive everything that has been presented. So we appreciate it, and we want everybody to walk away both fulfilled and informed and empowered that we can make a difference together. United we stand, divided we fall. We're ready. If there are no other comments, we are ready to adjourn. Is there a motion?
So move.
Seconded.
We are adjourned. Thank you all. Have a
All
great
right,
night.
thank you. Good
And
night.
remember, you don't have to
Good night.
rush, but hurry
Get
up.
on out of here.